everyone, my name is Brad, and in today's DLS Quick Tip, I'll be covering an important feature that can help route calls based on your organization's business schedule. That feature is office hours. If your business schedule doesn't change much from day to day, you can set your in-office and out-of-office hours in the PBX to automatically route calls based on the time of day. As an example, let's use an office that requires calls ring through to a group of phones during their office hours, but go straight to a general voicemail box at all other times. This office could have a posted schedule of Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m., Saturdays, 1 to 4 p.m., and Sundays off. They could also take an hour off from answering calls for a new staff training Monday through Friday at noon for the next month. Finally, they're also closed for 4 of the federal holidays. With those operating guidelines defined, let's begin. Heading over to the sidebar on the left, I'll choose System, Office Hours. I'll add a new office hour schedule by clicking the blue Add button at the bottom of the page. In the yellow section that opens up, we have a number of options here to help define exactly what the operating hours will be. I'll begin by filling in a description that best explains what this office hour entry means. Next, we'll choose our mode. Typically, you'll choose an interval which covers a repeating time period each day. The span option allows you to define a group of intervals that have a start and end date in a calendar year. These work best for creating seasonal schedules. The holiday mode will associate your office hours schedule with a specific holiday, given a list of US-oriented holidays that is automatically updated each year. As mentioned earlier, we need to define a fixed weekday schedule that will generally take place every Monday through Friday of each year. With that in mind, I can choose interval for my mode here. Next, we'll fill out the year, hours, days, and months that best suit this interval. These should easily fall in place thanks to our earlier guidelines. Effective year can be kept at any, since this schedule is unlikely to change in the future. Hours of day, which is based off of a 24-hour format, will begin by setting the start time with 0900 or 9 a.m. and end time at 1700 or 5 p.m. Days of the week will start on Monday and end on Friday. Days of the month and month of the year can be kept at any. The last section, Member of Groups, refers to another page under the System tab called Office Hour Groups, which can be used to lump multiple office hours together for better organization. With this first office hours set up, I'll click the Save at the top of the yellow section. Since Saturday's schedule is different, I'll need to use a separate entry to define what the Saturday office hours will be. To save on time, I've gone ahead and created office hours for the rest of the operating guidelines mentioned previously. The Saturday office hour will be similar to the weekday business hour, with the mode set as interval and the hours of the day and the days of the week being defined further to catch all Saturdays for the year. The staff training I've created as a span, as it only needs to run Monday through Friday for the next month. Note here how we still define the hours of the day, days of the week, and days of the month, like that of an interval, but we also select the total runtime of the span using the effective date row. Finally, for the holidays, I've created a separate office hour using the holiday mode and selected the corresponding holiday in the drop-down menu. For the sake of convenience, you may wish to further organize these individual system office hours into groups. To do this, go to System, Office Hour Groups on the left. To add a new group, click the blue Add button at the bottom of the page. Name your group, then Control or Shift-click to highlight multiple office hours together and add them in. When you're done, click the Add button at the top of the yellow section. Now that the office hours have been configured, we can apply them to the current routing plan. To do this, I'll go to the default call routing page. Here we can see that anyone who calls in to 847-379-9059 immediately rings through to a dial group for 5 rings, and then voicemail if there's no answer. There aren't any office hours in place yet, so it's possible that these phones can ring 24/7. To change this, I'll head back to the default routing tree and edit the go-to step that's routing calls to this dial group. Since we only want these phones to ring during business hours, we can tell the system to only route calls to those phones during the time frame that we outlined earlier. Since I already have a voicemail step that will receive any call that enters the system outside of these business hours, the last thing to do is to make sure that calls during the 4 holidays or calls during staff training also go straight to this voicemail step. I can add in a new routing step here using the Add button to the right of our main number. Here, I'll choose to send calls to voicemail during staff training hours. Be sure to pay close attention to the ordering of these steps. Since all call flow filters down from the first step to the next until the first valid option is found, we want to make sure that our normal business hours won't override special case scenarios like the staff training here. Using the arrows to the right, I can move this routing step above our normal business hours, so that it's factored in at the beginning of the call and not skipped. Finally, I'll add in a routing step to handle holidays. This time, I'll be sure to order the step using the drop-down menu to the top left so that it's the first step in the list. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this look into the office hours feature and how useful it will help you route calls based on your business schedule. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.